Welcome home to Unity of Rockford, our spiritual home. We hope you are enjoying your modified July 4th weekend and celebrating in a safe and enjoyable way. Let's sing, "This is a Day the Lord Has Made." I am alive, awake, alert, joyous, and enthusiastic about my life. And now Glennie will lead us in an opening prayer.
Sweet Spirit, our hearts are joined together as one to shine the light of the Christ within, to radiate divine love to all people in need of love, comfort, and direction. We see all present circumstance in divine order and remain open to your grace in every situation. We enter this day with love in our hearts, with strength in our conviction, and with praise on our lips. We are grateful. Amen.
Would you please repeat the truth statement with me? There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life. God, the good, omnipotence, in whom I live and move and have my being. Announcements for today. It was going to be so great to see all of your smiling eyes this morning here in our sanctuary at Unity of Rockford. We have our space completely ready, with it being deep cleaned and everything we needed to have live service for today. But with the numbers increasing since we emailed all of you, we want to stay on the side of caution for everyone. So we are bringing the live service to you virtually. Instead of you coming to service, we are bringing the service to you. I want to thank Glennie for speaking today, and the technology geniuses of Kim and Shannon for doing their magic to put this on YouTube for all of you to enjoy. I would also like to take time and thank all of the people who have helped so much over the course of the last 3.5 months of being in self-isolation due to COVID. First, I would like to thank Mary for all of the absolutely beautiful virtual prayer circles she has put together over the time of self-isolation and will continue to put forth for another month or so. She has provided a time for all of us on Tuesday mornings at 10 a.m. to hold sacred space for all of you, people on our prayer list, and the world, in addition to Thursday's Power of 8. She has put her time, energy, and heart into each week, and we are so grateful to her. Mary has also fed the birds and watered our plants during this entire time as well. Thank you, Mary. We would also like to thank Marge for her Zoom Course in Miracle classes. She kept everyone spiritually nourished during this time of COVID, and we are so grateful to her. Kim and Shannon. What a team we have been as we have journeyed through this time of virtual services. We are so grateful to them for all of the time, energy, heart, and soul invested in helping create such beautiful Sunday services. They have more programs on their computer than you can imagine. We tweaked and morphed as we went along, and they have spent a lot of time brainstorming and persevering to get us to the production stage each week. We have been committed to providing you with the spiritual nourishment opportunities to mirror what we would be doing if we were all able to congregate here in our sanctuary. It has been fun working on these productions together, and I can tell you a lot of time has been put into each and every one of them. I am so grateful for their commitment and dedication to our Unity of Rockford family for providing all they have to help with the Sunday services. We have new ceiling solar skylight blinds. Woohoo! We have been working on this project since last fall. Thank you, Bob Kapar, for initially bringing it to our attention. We have spent a lot of time on this project. The board talked about the need to help with the glare that was on the projector screen, and since we use our projector and screen every Sunday, we wanted everyone to be able to fully experience being able to see the best they could with the technology we have here in our sanctuary. The board voted on this project before COVID, and I met with budget blinds after businesses opened up and had the blinds installed. We also have had the parking lots cracks filled, seal coated, and striped. The board voted earlier this year to sign a contract for this work by Ike Trickey of Trickey Enterprises. I contacted Ike after the work was done and expressed our sincere gratitude for the excellent and professional work done. His communication throughout the project was outstanding. Ike said, "The icing on top of the cake is we are not going to send you an invoice. This one's on us, no charge." I hesitated and said, "No invoice?" Ike said, "That's correct." I said, "I am in so much awe, and I'm so moved and I'm so grateful. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and the hearts of our congregants." He said, "You are most welcome. I know churches are having a hard time. I hope we can all get back to normal soon." I said, "I am so grateful. We are so, so blessed. Thank you so very, very much." I said, "You are most welcome, and tell your congregation they are most welcome." I followed up with writing and sending a thank you letter to him. We will also do a Yelp review and a Facebook review for his company. I wanted to share the news with all of you first. The greatest thank you we can give to Ike is to promote his professional attitude toward his customers and his generosity by word of mouth to those looking for seal coating services. The cost of this project was $1,500. That is a savings of $1,500 for our spiritual center. Thank you, Ike Trickey and Trickey Enterprises, for this beautiful, beautiful gift. I would also like to thank Mary, Julie, and Julie's 3 grandsons, Lucas, Finn, and Alton, for working in the gardens over this time of self-isolation as well. We also had an outside work day as well, and you saw all of that on the email. The day was a huge success. We trimmed, cut, pulled, transplanted, and weeded all around our entire spiritual center. We loaded 3 trailers full of limbs and took them to a city mulching area. We could not have done it without these love-filled individuals. Bob and Jenny Kupar, Monica Payton, Sharon Okerlander, Rich Brooks, Julie Thompson, Mary Cagle, Bev Chicalello, Deb Zenizer, Cindy McCrae, Shannon Burt, and Kim McKibben. We had so much fun throughout the day too. The church looks absolutely beautiful. What an amazing group of people we had that day. We are so grateful to all 13 people who helped beautify our space. You are such an amazing group of people. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If any of you want to come out and weed throughout the week, please feel free. We want to keep our spiritual center outside yard looking beautiful. We want to thank Dan Kelly for putting up our new handicap parking signs. Thank you so much, Dan. We want to thank Joy for putting together the active congregant directory. That seems like such a long time ago, but we wanted to get that information out so you could all contact each other through this COVID self-isolation. So we hope you all did and that you are all doing that. Joy also used it on Sunday mornings as she was watching the virtual Sunday services and imagined all of you were right there with her. It was fun to work on that project with her, and it turned out beautiful, Joy. Thank you. If you have birthday party presents and rummage sale items, we ask you to be so kind as to keep them for just a while longer. I know we have all had lots of times to sort through our homes, and we do need every little bit we can get for our rummage sale. It will help our spiritual center out financially for everything you have at your homes. As we can see how these next few weeks go, our intention is to have both a birthday party and the rummage sale in the future as soon as we can get back to normal. So please be patient, and we will let you know when those dates are. We want to thank everyone who have continued their financial support during this time of self-isolation. We sincerely appreciate all of your tithing and all of your financial gifts that we have received during this time. As we have said in our virtual services, even though we are not physically together at Unity of Rockford, our expenses still continue. It does make a difference when we are not together, as we have not had our cash income for the past 15 weeks. So thank you so much for your continued support. That is what sustains our spiritual center here at Unity of Rockford. And lastly, our dear friend and beautiful musician, Ron Lawson, transitioned. If you look in front of the podium here, I have a dozen red roses to signify how much we love him and how much we miss him. He will be in our hearts always and forever. We love you, Ron. All of our service music are recordings of Ron's. Please remember that throughout the service this morning. And to start us off, let's sing the birthday song for all of the July birthdays. And hold on. We always get dialed up. All right, hit it, Shannon. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, you are wonderful. Happy birthday to you. Yay! Now I know you're all standing up, just letting us know when your birthday is. I know that Kim's is July 23rd. She's right there, she has her hand up. July 23rd. I know Joy's is July 26th. And I know Kim's mom, Lesta's, is July 18th. So with those three and all of you who have July birthdays, we all wish you a very, very, very happy birthday this month. And at this time, would you please enjoy and sing along with the song, What the World Needs Now is Love, by Dionne Warwick.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just too little of. But what the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Good morning. Today we're going to continue our discussion of the 12 powers by focusing on the power of love. Love is the ability to attract, unify, and desire. The disciple that represents love is John. He represents unconditional acceptance and forgiveness. The corresponding color is pink, and the location is at the back of the heart. So let's start with an article on love by Winifred Hostin. When Jesus prayed the prayer of atonement with his disciples, he reported so beautifully by John, the love disciple, he was calling attention to the ultimate activity of love, the spiritual oneness that pervades everything in the universe. Love is. Love continues to be just as the sun continues to shine. Love and the love center in the body is at the heart. As the heart circulates life-giving blood throughout the body, so a right concept of love circulates life-giving substance through our thinking, feeling nature, as well as through our body and affairs. Development of God consciousness of oneness enriches all phases of life it enters. The faculty of love centered in the heart and wisdom from the seat of the pit of the stomach meets in the solar plexus at the back of the heart and the stomach. In considering the unfoldment of love, we must make sure that we link this always with wisdom. Wisdom and love are not only two of the 12 powers, but they are also the two phases of God that combine to produce creativity of any kind. So we loved each other so much today we wanted to be together, but our wisdom kicked in and said, perhaps it's not the right time. So love and wisdom are always important to use together. It is love that looks past appearances to behold the truth of being. It is love that enables us to live in harmony with all of our universe. It is love that heals, prospers, attracts, holds, and makes real the good ideas. And divine love is the greatest power of protection in the universe. You know, it's not necessary for us to like all that we see in our world. We do not have to agree with the wrong things that people do. But regardless of the appearances, we must love the Christ of God in all persons and in all things. We must because it is our nature to love, and because he first loved us. End of quote. Thank you, Winifred. The Course in Miracles states that love is just another word for God. So this morning I invite you to visit the words of the prophet by Khalil Gibran. Hear his words about love and envision love and God as one and the same. Also, as I quote the author's words, I'm substituting he, she, and it so as not to fall into the illusion of identifying God as a person, because we all know that God is an energy. God, the all, is divine love. So let's begin. Quote, when God beckons to you, follow him, though his ways may be hard and steep. And when his wings enfold you, yield to him, though the sword hidden among his pinions may wound you. How often have we yielded to God? Yielded to doing the right thing to do out of a loving heart and got hurt anyway. For example, you've told the truth, even if no one would have known the difference. Or you returned something that didn't belong to you. Or you gave something precious away because someone else needed it more than you did. Have you heard of the Buddhist vacuum cleaner? It has no attachments. When we let go of anything, if we have an attachment to it, we're going to feel the pain, because it's the attachment that causes the pain. And that pain is our baptism. Quote, and when God speaks to you, believe in him, though his voice may shatter your dreams, as the north wind lays waste the garden. Has anyone ever had a corn crop or a beautiful garden that just got blown away in one big gush? It destroyed it in one afternoon like the California Santa Ana winds. Well, that has happened a lot lately. Sometimes the universe blows through and changes our life on a dime. Look at what is happening right now with the pandemic. 5 months ago, would you ever have dreamed that this was going to be happening? Things can happen and change your life in a moment. And sometimes it just feels like everything just got blown down in one moment. But God doesn't come usually as a roaring thunder. Most often, God comes as that still small voice, that intuition that whispers in your ear, that wisdom that gives you a gut level feeling that says, something's not quite right here. Or everyone around you thinks you're going on that vacation in June. But I'm here to tell you, it's not going to happen. So you listen to that. Listen to God. Listen to that intuition that tells you things. And believe it, even though it may shatter your dreams. Learn to listen to that still small voice. Quote, "For even as God crowns you, even as divine love crowns you, so shall he crucify you. Even as he is for your growth, he is also for your pruning." Can you imagine what the earth would be like if it never got pruned, kept growing and growing? If there was no death, no destruction, no pruning, everything would just be overgrown and everything would be in chaos. Think of your own spiritual growth. If you had only success all the time and you never had failure, never had that little death of the ego, how grandiose, how out of control would we all be? Success and failure, pain and pleasure, highs and lows, they're all part of our spiritual growth. And we must welcome all of it. Even as God ascends to your height and caresses your tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, so shall divine love descend to your roots and shake them in their clinging to the earth. There was a unity minister and author of Spiritual Dynamics. Her name was E.J. Niles. I liked her a lot. She told us in class that a unity minister only has 2 missions in your teaching. One is to comfort the afflicted, and the other one is to afflict the comfortable. And I like that. See, when we are like those tenderest branches that quiver in the sun, when we are so vulnerable and defenseless, God is there. Divine love is there to comfort us, to guide us, to lead us, to show us the way. We are surrounded, enfolded, protected by the light, the power, the presence, and the love of divine love. And when we become selfish and self-centered and cold-hearted and envious and stingy and a little hubris, in other words, when we grow too big for our britches, the universe has a way of cutting us off at the knees and shaking our roots in their clinging to worldly desires. Quote, "Like sheaves of corn, God gathers you onto herself. He threshes you to make you naked. She shifts you to free you from your husk. He grinds you to whiteness. She kneads you until you are pliant, and then he assigns you to his sacred fire, that you may become sacred bread for God's sacred feast." When I hear this image of the bread, I think of the body and the blood of Christ and how we are all kneaded and molded and formed. It is a process of purification. Life in the physical is not for the weak-hearted. We chose this incarnation at this time for a reason. We all decided we wanted to live through the pandemic for some reason. And I think it's to show us so that we will guide and show the light to everyone around us. So that when everyone is being in fear, we can show them that love is more powerful than fear. It's going to be a very interesting ride, one way or the other. There's an initiation of sorts to reach the higher realms of consciousness. Consider the divine inspiration of the 12-step program, how people's lives are being saved every day when they finally get it, that their ways just isn't working, and they surrender to God's will in their lives. Jesus said, "Of myself I can do nothing. It is the Father in me that does the work." See, we are pushed and pulled and molded and thrown into the sacred fire to be purified. The purification process is a process of getting rid of everything that no longer spiritually serves us, of getting rid of everything that is not of love. The Course in Miracles says that only love is real. Everything else is going to fall away. Because at the end of the day, when all else is stripped away, we stand naked in the light of our authentic selves. And that is pure love. That's who we are. Love is our nature. And as much as I appreciate Leo Buscaglia, he's the love doctor. He gave us some really good things. He said, the love in your heart isn't put there to stay. Love isn't love till you give it away. He has a lot of good things to say about love. But he says that we are not born loving. He says that love has to be learned. And I respectfully disagree with that. I believe that we are love, and that that's our nature, and that we are born love. I believe we are all initially, we know how to express love, and that what we are learning is how to block love from showing up in our lives. Eric Butterworth calls this frustrating our potential. See, we are taught that we're not worthy. We are taught that we don't deserve to love. We are taught to hate and to mistrust. And if we can overcome all these teachings that we are taught, then love shines through. But divine love, God, is always available to us. All we have to do is ask, and we keep forgetting to ask. All we have to do is look up. And what I mean is raise our level of consciousness. All we have to do is to connect to that divine source. Bernie Siegel, the author of Love, Medicine, and Miracles, said he really wanted to be more loving, so he asked his guru, how could I do that? How can I become more loving? And his mentor said, well, Bernie, just act more loving. That's all you have to do. Act more loving. Give to the world that which you desire. Love one another. Back to Cahill. He says, all these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragrant of life's heart. But if in your fear you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out of love's threshing floor into the seasonless world, where you shall laugh, but not all your laughter, and weep, but not all your tears. Can you imagine a seasonless world? Here in the Midwest, we love our spring, summer, winter, and fall. We wouldn't appreciate spring if it wasn't for these harsh winters that we're having. Every season has something to offer us. How dull would life be if we didn't have the changing of the seasons? To everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. There's a time and a season for everything. A time to laugh, a time to cry, a time to live, and a time to die. But if you're in your fear, if you would only seek love's peace and love's pleasure, it reminds me of people who are afraid of loving because of the pain that they think it brings to them. Love knows not its own death until the hour of departure. It's not love that brings us the pain. It's the attachment to the object of our affection that causes us the pain. Remember the Buddha's vacuum cleaner? It's the attachment that causes the pain, not love. For love gives not but itself and takes not but from itself. Love, God, possesses not, nor would it be possessed. For love is sufficient unto love. There is but one power and one presence in the universe. God is dependent on nothing. Nothing outside of itself, because everything is God. God is sufficient unto God. Have you ever lost someone that you really loved? A brother, a sister, a partner, a parent, a child, a beloved pet? We call it heartbreaking because it feels that way. It's very, very painful. I remember my mom a few years ago when she lost her pet of 14 years. She said, "I'll never have another one. That was just too painful. I could never go through that pain again. It just wasn't worth it." And I also remember friends who tell me that they'll never go through it again when they're at the end of a relationship. And I was sad for her because I remembered, in your fear, you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure. You will pass into the seasonless world where you will laugh, but not all your laughter. Why? Because you're not living your life to the fullest. Because you're not living your life. You're wanting only the highs and the lows. So you stay in the fear of living life to the fullest, and you stay stuck in the middle, stuck in melancholy, stuck in the safety and mediocrity. To me, that's a slow death. I say, give me the roller coasters. I'm here for the ride. Give me the highs and give me the lows. Give me the pleasure and give me the pain. That's living life to the fullest. Most of the time, taking risk, taking the road less traveled, is where our spiritual growth lies. Now back to Mom. I only stayed sad for her for a while because then I remembered this truth, quote, "And think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course." It wasn't long before a feisty little kitty waltzed his way into my mom's life and stole her heart away when she wasn't looking. And almost every day she calls me and tells me some naughty little thing that he does. And now she's got 2 cats, and they give her joy. You know, the depth of your low is as high as you go, so you have to ride the wave of life and know that it's always going to get better. I think next year is going to be a phenomenal world because we've been in the wave and now we're going up to the top. Love comes in all shapes and sizes and disguises. Through our children, through our pets, through our parents, our friends, our co-workers, even our casual acquaintances. Love shows up in the many faces of God just when we need it. The prophet says, quote, "Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love, let these be your dreams. To melt and be like the running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness." Have you ever loved so much that it actually hurt? I think a lot of grandparents go through that when they do things for the grandchildren. They know they're not going to get thanked for it, but we do it anyway because we love them so much. To be wounded by your own understanding of love. I think all saints and most poets know this, and certainly Jesus. To be wounded by love and to bleed willingly anyway. To wake at dawn with a weaned heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at the noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at eventide with gratitude. And then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved, for God in your heart, and a song of praise on your lips. In closing, I would like to talk about all the kinds of love. There's love of ice cream, love for pets, love for children, love between lovers, that's a good one, love for thy neighbor. Agape love, that means unconditional love. Love for all of mankind, love of God, and love as God. You know, every Easter we celebrate the fact that Jesus rose from the dead, he ascended into heaven, and he sits on the right hand of the Father. And what that means is the Christ Jesus ascended in consciousness. He rose from the dead. He rose in consciousness. He was asleep and he woke up. He ascended into the state of oneness consciousness. I and the Father are one. And he merged into divine love. The story of the Bible is the story of man's rise in consciousness from the animal or human to the divine. Jesus came to teach us that we are divine. The divinity in man was his message, and we get there through divine love. The Master gave us 2 commandments. 1, to love God with all your heart and mind and soul. And 2, to love your neighbor as yourself, because your neighbor is yourself. We are all one. One spirit, one consciousness, one love. We are all divine love. That's our essence. That's who we are at our very core. Jesus completed his demonstration of divine identity through his ascension, the divine in man. His life was his message. He came, he taught, he demonstrated how to do it, how to accomplish divine love, oneness consciousness. First through forgiveness. Forgive them, Father, for they know not what they do. And then through surrender to higher power, emerging into the all. That was his journey. So every Easter we celebrate the Christ Jesus as he ascended into oneness consciousness. And we follow his footsteps, his example, by forgiving everyone and everything, by surrendering to divine love, by demonstrating our love every moment of every day, by being the light in the world. We step out of our fear and illusion of being separate from each other, and we demonstrate our oneness by loving one another and recognizing who we are. We are one life. Our life is our message and our mission. Today, we celebrate our realization of our purpose in this life. To love. To love. Namaste. Will you please prepare for meditation by singing our thoughts or prayers? So let's get centered, placing our feet flat on the floor, hands in our laps, and closing our eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And let's begin by taking a few slow, gentle, cleansing breaths. Breathe in and fill your lungs. Give them the life and oxygen that they deserve. Exhale with a sigh of relief. Relax, release, and let go. Let go of all tension and all expectation. Breathe deep. Let go. And let divine spirit enter in, here and now. Come fully to this present moment, giving all your attention to divine mind. Breathe. Relax. Create a space in your awareness for thoughts of love, of peace, of brotherhood. Imagine the beauty and the wonder of summer, of grass growing and birds singing and little flowers blooming, of the fresh smell in the air after a morning rain, how the leaves drift and dance and play in the breeze. Summer is a time for activity. As the sun calls forth for all things to grow, we feel the rewarded energy in our hearts and in our minds. a peaceful anticipation for the good things to manifest in this day. This is a time for new beginnings and a time of rest in the stillness. Life is sweet and full when I take the time to rest in the peaceful presence of divine love. I center myself within, and I feel the presence of love growing within me. And gratitude fills my heart. Gratitude fills my soul and radiates throughout my life. I am enriched and blessed to overflowing, and I am openly and lovingly expressing gratefulness for all those people in my life. I am love. I am love. I breathe in, and I know my oneness with all of humanity. Connected to Divine Spirit, I count my blessings, and I see them multiply. I listen to the still, small voice in the silence. Love the divinity within all, and you free yourself of the slavery of artificial distinction. See the perfection behind imperfection, and you behold the true being of your brethren and yourself. Meditation is a silent reminder of our eternal love. We have opened our hearts and our mind to new possibilities. As we return to our day and bring with us the energy of gratitude and open-heartedness, we move with ease and grace, allowing Spirit to flow through us as us. And we are so grateful. We say, thank you, sweet Spirit. Thank you, divine love. And so it is. Amen.
It is that time in our service to give of our gifts, our tithes, and our offerings. You have been so generous in this time when we physically cannot be together. We know that when we tithe, it is a spiritual practice. It brings us closer to the divine. So thank you. Thank you for sending your checks in the mail and for going online to donate. You may mail your checks to Unity of Rockford, 4381 Manchester Drive, Rockford, Illinois, 61109, or click the donate button on our website at www.unityofrockford.com. We really appreciate all that you give. Thank you. Would you please say the offertory statement with me? Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Please enjoy and sing along with our special music for today, which is Love is My Decision by Daniel Namad.
Love is my decision. It's up to me decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and
God, we thank you for these gifts, tithes, and offerings. We may be small in numbers, but we are mighty in our prosperity consciousness. We are grateful for the generosity of these givers and for their gifts that will keep our spiritual center alive and well. Our commitment is to feed souls and nourish our community. Thank you, God, and so it is. Amen. If you have any prayer requests, please email them to unityrockford@gmail.com, and we will forward these to the prayer team. If you are not on our email list for our weekly updates, please contact us at unityrockford@gmail.com, and we will add you to the email list. If you'd like to know more about Unity of Rockford, please visit our website at www.unityofrockford.com. At this time, let's please sing the peace song and prayer of protection. I'm holding your hands right now. Thank you so much for sharing this sacred time together today. We love you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ within you. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Namaste.